Hello and welcome to Ivycreates. We're glad you're here today to help us with this pet portrait. Today I am painting a beautiful little boxer girl named, I believe her name is Tuesday, and she is very precious, and I am a boxer person. I've had boxers and mastiffs for the past, 35 years or so. So this is very close and dear to my heart because I love my boxers. And today you can see I am going to be painting this boxer. I'm doing the chalk paint in the background, and I dry it off with my dryer a bit. Now I've already taken this photo in black and white and then put it on with graphite paper and just traced it onto our canvas. The process is no different than how you're doing it. Stick with me because all the way through the end, because there is something different about this video, and I will be the first to tell you everyone makes mistakes, and I made some. Even if you do, trace it off of tracing paper and put the main form on there. Once you get to painting, you're pretty much on your own. So you do have to know what techniques you're using and how you're doing it. You will see that I use a lot of paint pens, a lot of ink pens, like India ink. This is a Faber-Castell India ink pen that I've got, and I'm adding in the pinks and the dark colors to the face. Putting in all of my little folds in the skin and everything. And I wanted to say wish you a Merry Christmas, because today is going to be Christmas release for this one. So I hope you're having a wonderful holiday, and I hope you're with family and friends. So this is putting in all the folds and creases, all the dark marks, and the bases for everything on here. And I will tell you, stick with me to the end, because I get to a point in this, no matter how hard you try, and I mean, you can draw the entire thing or even print it onto the canvas. Once you start painting, you do have to remember your technique, because you can go overboard, and you will see that about halfway through when I start completely over again. Now, for the purposes of the video, I started at the same place that I stopped at. You'll see that too. But I'm just going through and adding all of the dark areas, making sure that I've got everything tinted. Now I'm going in for color blocking. And what I mean by that is I'm putting the bases of the color down on the canvas so that I have underpainting. With dogs or animals of any kind, you're going to have skin that's a different color than the actual fur, so you got to start with the base color first. And this is very loose. This is not detailed at all. Anybody could do this part. This is basic, just putting colors down. You don't have to be fancy, you don't have to be detailed about it. And I am using a burnt orange with a burnt umber mix to get this red-headed look that the boxers have. And their fur has a lot of sheen to it, and it's very shiny. And you know, I feel especially obligated, since I've had boxers for so long and I love everything about their personalities. They are an original German breed that comes from a mastiff breed. Mastiffs and bulldogs mix, and so that's how they got the boxers. They were to be a protector. Most people know them as the jokers of the dog world. They are hilarious. Constantly, they stay puppy until the day that they die, which is an amazing thing, because they always are such characters. So you can see now I'm putting lighter colors, just blocking that color in, and this is going to be a tan color with a little hint of pink. So you're looking at a creamy white to tan color. So mix white with burnt umber and a little touch of pink, and you'll get this color that's the lighter part that I'm putting in now. And you can also see that I use some really thinly watered down black paint, just plain old black, to use for the mask, the bases for the mask on our boxer face, because most boxers do have a mask of some sort. and they also have a few white areas. Just so you didn't know, white boxers are not considered breed standards, and neither were black boxers. And black boxers are actually what they call a sealed brindle. And so there's really not any such thing as a white or a black boxer. There are the fawn colors, the brindle colors, and the sealed brindles. Things have changed a lot over the years, and they are much more accepting, but many breeders, back in a long time ago, used to do bad things for white boxers, because you can't have more than, I think it's like 25% white on a boxer, so to consider it breed standard. Anyways, so now I'm touching into the eyes, and I'm going in with a gray Faber-Castell India ink brush pen, and I'm just darkening in, and I do this a little bit at a time as we go through it, so that it's gradual change and gradual, depth I'm adding. And you can see I'm also using a pale yellow marker, and I'll end up using one it's got peach on it, but it comes out to be a brown looking, and it's Faber-Castell, and it's like a coral peach, but when I put it on canvas, it always comes out brown. So it's handy though, because as you lighten it, it does pull up the peach more, and that's really good for putting fur, especially on a red-headed looking dog. So you can see they have the big soulful eyes, and you have to get those eyes just right. Make sure that you've got your highlights where you have your little catch lights, where the white part, the shiny of the eye, and you follow that as your light source. So if the white parts of the eye are, like, say, pointing up, to the forehead, then that's where your light is coming from. If they're pointed off to the side, then that's where your light is coming from. So you want to follow that for your highlights and your shadows on your fur. So you can see I use a tiny liner brush. I'm adding a little bit of brown to the bottom of the eye. A lot of times when you look at a boxer, you'll see nothing but black, but they do have brown in their eyes, and I like to pull a little bit of that out to give it more depth, of course. And now I added in some more white markings, and I'll go back and I'll back and forth a few times, layering on different colors so that it shows through the fur. And you can see I go between my paint and my pens, my brush pens, seamlessly. I do every once in a while use my big heat gun to dry it off a little bit so that I don't mess it up. Now, it was at this point, and this is what I was saying, this is the change, the difference. At this point, I looked and I felt like I had overpainted this canvas. And what I mean by that is sometimes, like I said, when you draw it down, no matter what you do, the paint is going to be your final product. So everybody messes up, everybody makes mistakes. So I went in and I did not like the way this looked. I thought that I'd overdone the nose. So I went back and started with a plain, fully new canvas and started painting again. The same thing, same process, and that's why I showed you that first process, because it's the same process no matter what I'm doing. I've got my black and white photo, I took my graphite paper, I put it on top of the canvas, I traced over it with my little tool, and then took it off and repainted the base colors. And you can see I went a little bit lighter this time when I painted my base colors. And oh yeah, it was tears, because I was so frustrated with myself because I'd overpainted it and I thought I'd ruined the whole thing, which I still had the other painting, and I may go back and redo it again, or I may just throw paint over the whole thing and forget about it. But so this is a completely new canvas with new details. I'm using a lighter gray this time in my Faber-Castell brush pen. And they don't support me. They don't give me free stuff. I just happen to like their products. So they are not sponsoring me at all. So you can see I've been using these pens, these brush pens, for years, and I absolutely love them. They're kind of hard to find. Not real easy to find this kind. And usually I will go to like Michael's to find them or look online. And sometimes I just hope and pray I find some on sale because they are not cheap. So I usually pay about $4 to $5 per pin, per brush pin. So when I find them on sale, I grab up whatever I can. Because I am very frugal with my products, with everything, my paint, my pens, my markers, all of that good stuff, because I am truly a starving artist. So you can see I'm starting to make better progress on this, and what I did on the previous painting, I felt like the mask and the nose, and it's funny, I'm talking with my hands as I'm doing this. The mask and the nose, I seemed to do too much, and it was all too dark at one time. So I completely redid that. And when you do any type of painting, the first thing you want to do is your darkest spots so that you don't lose the lining of your painting. The lines, the drawing part, what gives you your details. So I always like to start with my darkest parts first and then work to my lightest. And you can see I'm using again that peach pen. I'm putting in that fur. And I'm doing tiny little fast strokes to give that illusion of fur, and I'll do it many times over. I may go back in and do a wash over it with a thin, light colored, like a watered down acrylic paint. I do primarily do acrylic. I don't mess with oils anymore. It just takes too long to dry, and I have no patience. So you can see this is starting to look much, much better. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you, the one thing that I did want to say about this is I had a boss a long time ago, my manager, and she always told me and made me feel so good. She was like, there is no mistake as long as you can correct it. And I completely live by that to this day. As long as you can correct it, you've done nothing wrong. So just remember that you can always do better. You can always do it all over again if you need to. Anything, whatever it takes to make the client happy and to make yourself happy as well. So that is part of the reason why I wanted to show you. Nobody's perfect. No artist is perfect. It takes practice. It takes time. And you can see all the little details being put in. I put more color into the chest where it's white because the skin underneath the chest in the picture is actually darker than the fur. And you can see I'm adding more details as I go in with my pens, my brush pens. I just ordered some new acrylic brush pens, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for them to get in so I can use those and try them out and see what they're like, because I believe the Faber-Castells are like an India ink, and there are some other different types. I've got some alcohol ones, I've got different ones, but you can see this mask on this puppy is looking much better than my other one. It does not look as messy. It's much tighter and more controlled, and I used the pens more and layered the colors better. So I went with a lighter color the first time around, and I even used my pens to add my shadows down on the legs and everything. I like using a lot of the gray pens and using the lights and darks of the colors to add my shadows. Sometimes you can also add shadows with different colors, like you may have a purple shadow or something that glows a little bit blue or something like that. You can add those colors too as shadows. There are some artists that won't even use white and black. They use strictly colors, and you should try that as an exercise. I may have to do a video about that. To use no white and no black in a painting and just use strictly color to show what it is. And that comes out really neat. Alright, you can see I'm getting closer to the final piece here, and I'm adding, just going back, short little quick strokes on my brush pens and adding more and more detail as I do. If I'm doing the nose or the snout on a puppy dog, I do that with doing little dots. If you do it like little polka dots of different colors, it looks a little bit more real. There's a lot of different ways you can do fur. You can do individual fur. You can do more of a wash on fur, but make sure that you get the nose and the eyes right on every puppy that you do, or whatever portrait you're doing. And you can see this has got a little snaggle tooth hanging up there. It's really cute up under its lip, and most boxers tend to do that from time to time because of their underbite. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. Check out some of my shorts with two of my dogs, Clyde the South African Borbal, and he's a Mastiff, a big Borbal, and Lucy my boxer, and they go run the creek a lot, so I try to give a little short video each day. And I'm going to be doing a lot of other crafts in addition to my painting of pet portraits. I do love doing pet portraits. They are my fave. And I like to do something a little special, a little extra. If you look at any of my other portraits, I've done different ones with different personalities based on what the humans want. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and sticking with me through the video to see a beautiful final product that I can be proud of, and I hope that my client will also.
It's like a family, part of you.